All right, I know you're not going to be able to see anything in super detail until maybe I pan down towards here, but I do want to talk about what's been going on the Western Front. So right now, it's turn 3, or the beginning of turn 3. I've just given everybody's allocation for the combat resource points for turn 3. So it's the summer 1915. Italy has just entered the war. Turkey, I'll pan down later. Turkey entered the war last turn. The British Expeditionary Force invaded Greece last turn. There was hardly any combats whatsoever during the last turn, because when I went to go make a combat with the Germans over here, and we got whacked hard, it was winter time. At first it was great. I thought, okay, I'm going to be attacking the French here with a +5. Differential, and then read the rules again, and it says, oh, if it's winter time, by the way, you have to give the defenders +2. And I went, oh, so now we're down. Anyways, it ended up I rolled badly. The Germans had to took 5 hits to the French 1, so that hurt. Didn't want to retreat, that's for sure. So anyways, in the previous turn, so in turn 1, the Germans did attack the Belgians, and I did force the Belgians. They had 3 hits, and it was in the first combat phase, and well, I wouldn't have done it anyways. But I'm not allowed to remove any units in the first or second combat phases. I have to offset the hits either through reduction of combat resource points and or hex retreats. And also when I retreat, I also have to try to stay within the country's boundaries. But of course that was almost impossible to do with the Belgians here, and the Germans were over here when we attacked. I was going to try to sneak around towards Antwerp, and I was like, okay, this is getting... So I did, I brought them as much as I could to reduce them 2, and then, well, I had 1 CRP. So I took that down to 0. And then moved back 2. That being said, and then in the rules it said, okay, you can follow in their wake, as in if they move retreat 3 hexes, you can go 3. But here's the wrinkle: if I do enter another enemy zone of control, I have to stop there. So I'm allowed to do it once, kind of thing, like with 1 hex, and that was that. So that's that. And then the French, like I said, I think I'm doing this right. The French, also in the first turn, attacked and destroyed this fort, but now we're stuck there, and that's why I'm starting to clue in that people are saying about the Western Front, it's modeled really well for the slog effect. It's just due to the fact of I can't get in and out of zones of control. I can't move from one enemy zone of control to the other in one. Can't do this. I can, let's say there was a hex here, I could go, you know what I mean, that type of thing, but I certainly can't just go I can't just do one to the other. So we moved, well, I know the Italians have just entered the war, and in anticipation, last turn when I started using some of the combat resource points for the French, I started moving. I have to pop them in on the western edge here. So I moved them here. It was a bit scary, though, I will say this, when the British had left and the Germans were punched a hole here, and I hadn't realized about, okay, I have to stop when I get in enemy zones of control. I was like, oh my god, what in the world's going on? The Germans are taking over the Western Front like in the first turn, but it's like, okay, not going to happen. Hardly anything's going on the Eastern Front right now. I'm just trying to get more troops in, and then especially when the Russians take twice the amount of hits when the Germans attack and stuff like that. I'm very wary. So I'm just doing a holding pattern, bringing way more Russians in as per usual. And like I said, last turn was winter time, so I didn't want to do anything. I'm trying to figure out maybe a combo of maybe using the Germans and Austro-Hungarians to try to nail them in the Carpathians. We'll see. But here, we're going to go down to here a bit. I will say this about the game so far. I've only been playing a little bit. Gosh, I really would like to play with another person, because it's just got those... I know it. I'm having fun playing it solo, but it's just there's so many little strategies and decision point type things, and like I was saying before, the replayability feel to this is just off the charts. And I would seriously, it's just got that pace and complexity level for me to play. I would love to play this in an afternoon with a friend. That, like, it's got that vibe to it. It's the same as like the Spence and Gable Tannenberg game, by the way, which is on the Decision Games survey thing. One of the games that could be turned into a proper. I'm like, oh please, that would be awesome. Or even the CSL, the Conflict Simulations Limited World Undone series of games. I find it's at that level, totally different scale. But anyway, so that's it. So that was the last turn, and I use up all my movement points when I do a sea movement thing. I had to be very aware of all these little black areas here. I'm not allowed to go along the coast. Yeah, at first I was like, okay, screw this. I'm not, because I didn't realize that the Greek armies vanish if the Allies invade Greece. They're gone for the remainder of the game. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? I'm going to get ganged up on here, because I knew Turkey had also entered the war, and I was like, what are you doing? I got Turkey now can go towards here, but of course we got Bulgaria in the way, so we'll have to wait around. All I did with Turkey was I just moved one of the units down to Constantinople. They do get 6 combat resource points this turn, but they're tapped out at 6 as far as I know, so I can't go up to 12. I'll take a look again, but I don't think so. I think it's to try to model their logistical headaches they had during the Great War. That's it. I'll go take a look again. Like I've said before, I find this the pace of this game and the decision points, it's pretty darn good, man. I'm just astounded that games like this with 8 pages can do so much, where, you know, and sometimes I've played other games where it's just like oodles and oodles of rules, and nowhere near the enjoyment value for me, but I guess to each his own. Yep, all right, hope you're having fun. See ya.